Hey, this is Corey from Trivium, and you're watching this interview on PureGrainAudio.com. I guess it's a good amount of records to put out, and considering that we put our first major label record out with Roadrunner in 2005. We just work hard. We're always writing new music and just trying to keep building our band and making new fans. So we love what we do, so we just keep doing it. So we have the opportunity to make music for a living and release music, so we're just always looking forward to writing new music and getting in the studio and putting it out. So we're already wrote some stuff for the next record already, so it's just a constant process of just writing and creating. So we don't really ever put the brakes on that. So it's just whenever you get inspiration and you just are in the mood to put down some riffs or something, it's always fun to kind of see where the creative process takes you. So never gets old, because you can pretty much, with music, you can do whatever you want. So, and our band has got a very diverse sound that whatever we want to do musically, or whatever is really piquing our interest at that time, we're able to fit it within the confines of what Trivium is as a band. So it's really cool, because we can do a lot of different things, and we're not pigeonholed into just doing one specific thing. That it's there's always something fresh to kind of stumble upon. We didn't use it at the time, because when we were writing the Shogun record, we kind of were all over the map as far as what kind of songs we were writing. So we had a lot of stuff that was really extreme and long and progressive, and then there was stuff that was more kind of more in the rock direction and a little something different. And at a certain point, we had just such a wide variety of music that we were kind of like, we got to kind of like really narrow the vision down. And that song always was something that was really cool, that we really liked the kind of I guess the basic idea of what the song was and the parts, but at the time it just wasn't. We had so much material we were working on that we just couldn't put enough. We didn't have the time to really kind of see where the song went. So, and it didn't really, listen to the Shogun record, now it obviously doesn't sound like what that record became. So it was always something we had on the back burner, and we couldn't see it being on the follow-up records because it just didn't fit that style. But it always was a song that we always thought had something cool to it, that it could become something special if we put the time into really kind of figuring out where to finish the song off with. And before we started really writing this record, that song came up again. Our manager has been bitching at us for years to like, dude, you got to do Silence in the Snow, and we're just like, it just didn't feel right. And I think we got to a point where musically as a band and individually as musicians, where we could tackle a song that kind of required the vocal, I guess, style or whatever. Like Matt was at a place where I think vocally he could really take the song to where it needed to be. And as a band, it's a very more stripped down. Musically, it's a little more simpler, where the vocals needed to really take over. And I think now as a band, we were able to really be able to develop the song to what it needed to be and make it, take the song to its full potential now. And we brought the song back, and it kind of used it as the starting point for the record. So since we had a fresh slate with a new record, and we could kind of take it wherever we kind of thought kind of what we wanted to do, that once we started working on that song, it kind of was like the genesis of the record. It was like the first song, and we kind of built the rest of the record up around that song to fit everything together. I think where we were kind of musically going and wanting to do with our music, that song just kind of, at this time in our career, this song just made perfect sense to use now. And I think if we used it on any of the past two records, it would have been another song like it was before, is like the kind of the song that stuck out as it didn't fit. But now it was like the kind of the lead track to make the record. Sometimes good ideas just need a little time to kind of marinate into becoming a great song. So luckily, we never forgot about it and never threw it away. That it just needed, some ideas just need the time to be in the right headspace to really kind of maximize its potential as a track. It's fun because the whole story of like when we wrote it had a special meaning behind it. The time when we got the idea for the song and the inspiration behind it always had a special meaning to the band. We've always had it, we always talked about it. We had a demo version of it, which wasn't the best version, but at least we still had the idea down, where no one forgot like how it went or how the certain parts were, or forgot the lyrics. So it's nice because we always, you know, as I said before, we always thought that song had something special to it. But now it's like finally when because the song originally had like, you know, had the main parts to it that are on the song, but the middle section just went off on a, you know, a rant musically where it didn't really make sense to the rest of the song. It was kind of riffing out and just kind of seeing where it went. But, you know, we really were able to focus in on the track and kind of figure out how to kind of finish it and make it a whole piece. And we did a lot of, you know, learning over the years, all different songwriting tricks and techniques of how to put little twists and turns into the songs and stuff. We were able to add to it and improve upon even the original parts of the song to make the song even more interesting than it was before. So it's really fun because the song has a history, a lot of, like, you know, the super fans that know a lot of the, you know, the more deeper workings of the band or know a lot of the kind of more obscure knowledge of the band knew that track, just the title of it, not actually heard the song, but they knew about it. So it piqued a lot of interest with fans of like, oh, we finally get to hear this song. So it was fun to, you know, finally get like something that we've been sitting on for so long, finally, you know, get it out there and done and let people enjoy it, because we've been badgered by label and management for so long to finally use that song that we got that off our back and no one can bitch at us anymore about it. I think it's, you know, for being around as long as we have, it's like we knew when we were making the record that we couldn't just put out just another record. Like there had to be something about the record that made it more than just putting out just another CD. There had to be something bigger to it that makes a statement. We wanted to make a statement this far into our career. Sometimes, you know, with all the new bands coming up and everyone loves like the new band and like the new thing, and it's like we just really, you know, needed to kind of like make a statement where it's just like, hey, we're fucking still here, you know, pay attention. And I think we've grown over the years as a band and musicians that we're able to deliver something just musically that was, we wanted to make, you know, pretty much the whole idea was to make just like a record that every song is undeniable, every song's a metal anthem. You know, we just wanted to make stuff that just was, you know, as soon as you heard it, you could sing along to it and it was just instantly just grabbed you. And we wanted to make, you know, it wasn't about just making like one great single and then, you know, we wanted to make every song as important as everything else. We wanted to make one big record. It was like, you know, for being 10 years in from our first record, it's like we wanted to make a statement of this is the record that's like defining the next 10 years of our career. So it's kind of like our, I guess, 10-year debut of like, you know, we're making a statement of like, this is who we are in 2015 moving forward. And obviously every record we always find a way to do something different. And, you know, the next record, you know, we'll probably find a way to take what we did on this record, but find a new way to deliver something that makes that record unique on its own. We've just learned so much over the years of making records, production, that we kind of knew what we wanted to do with every aspect of this record. We knew exactly what we wanted to do. We didn't leave it up to somebody else to decide for us. And with mixing and mastering, you know, most records nowadays are so loud, mixed so loud, mastered so loud that it's just like when you turn it up, the compression crushes it and it kind of hurts your ears. That we did everything quieter, so when you turn it up, the dynamics grow, there's headroom. And that's like, you know, that's what makes so many of those classic records, when you crank them up, you're just like, fuck, this sounds amazing, because they weren't able to turn it up super loud because technology didn't let them. And sometimes technology lets you do something that not necessarily is the right thing to do. And we wanted the record to have dynamics and breathe and have like a, you know, it goes up and down. And, you know, that's why we did everything quieter. So when you do turn it up, everything's able to get bigger and expand. That's why, like, sometimes if someone's like, you know, listening to it on iPhone headphones or on iPhone speakers, it might not sound like overwhelming because you can't the phone can't go as loud as you can, but when I turn it up in my car and it just gets so massive sounding. That's kind of like the way, you know, like the Black Album, where you listen to the Pantera records and you turn it up, it just gets bigger and fuller. And that was kind of the approach we took with doing it, which is kind of like the opposite of what a lot of bands do nowadays. Yeah, it was just like a different approach, kind of more old school approach to the technical side of production, that hopefully more bands kind of do it, because when everything sounds loud, when the music's quiet, there's nowhere to go to get bigger.